Hello and welcome to a new video series. This is a new kind of segment I'm starting on my channel, which is going to be answering some of your questions. So I'm starting this series to kind of open up new doorways that aren't currently possible on my channel. I don't really have the opportunity to just kind of quickly answer questions and not have to script everything on my channel. So I thought this would be a good way to talk about the kind of things that I don't normally get to talk about and answer some viewer questions and just generally get to speak without having to plan things out weeks in advance. So I did ask for questions before and I got well over 400 questions, so obviously I'm not going to answer them all in this video. I selected some that I think will be interesting and that were asked a lot. So if your question didn't get answered in this episode, don't worry, I will try and do them all in the future. And if you have any new questions that you want to ask, just put them in the comments. So I guess we should just get into the first question. The first one is by the Meister, and he says, the first anime you ever watched. So I picked this because it's a nice little starting point, and I don't think it's anything I've ever discussed in my videos before. The first anime I ever watched, without, maybe catching 5 minutes of Dragon Ball on TV, was Ghost in the Shell. This was way before I got into the medium, or even really knew what the medium was. I just got a few Ghost in the Shell DVDs, which I still have for my birthday, and I think I watched volumes 1 and 6 of Standalone Complex, so I seen like 6 episodes of Standalone Complex, and then I went years and years without really realising what I'd watched, although I always had really fond memories of it. And then one day I watched Eureka 7, and Eureka 7 was kind of like the first anime that I watched where I actively knew I was watching Japanese animation, and then I've kind of never really stopped watching it from then, and that was probably about 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. Our next question here is from Alcatraz, and he asks, what 5 anime should I watch before I die? This is a really interesting question, and I think I'm just going to pick a selection of them, because I could just say my top 5 anime, but you want to kind of experience everything the medium has to offer in 5 anime. That's a tricky one, but I think I'd have to start with adding a slice of life show in there, so either Mushishi or Aria or Haibane Renmei. These are shows that I think only anime offer. I don't think you can find these kind of shows in any other medium, certainly not to the standard that Japan do them, so I think one of those would have to be on that list. Then it would have to be something by Masaki Yuasa, so the Tatami Galaxy, Kaiba, or even Ping Pong or Mind Game. Definitely something by Yuasa, because I think he just offers such a unique perspective on animation, something that you can literally find by nobody else and nowhere else. It's certainly unique and a must-watch experience. Neon Genesis Evangelion. I mentioned this quite a lot, and my feelings on it are so mixed. I think it's such an amazing series and something everybody should watch, not only because it's amazing, but because of what it's done for anime. I think it's such an important anime, and it's such an important anime for us currently right now. But it's also at the same time an incredibly unique show and something that you can very rarely find anywhere else in the world. So I definitely add that as the third anime you should watch. This one's probably more personal to myself, but it'd be something by Mamoru Oshii. He's personally one of my favourite individuals in the industry, and I can't get enough of his style and the way he tells his stories. I think they're just amazing, and I think everyone should experience, all of his Ghost in the Shell work. Just all of his work, actually. I'm not going to bother listing them, but I definitely add one of his things. And finally, Legend of the Galactic Heroes. I think it's something that every single fan of storytelling should watch. It's an achievement that I don't think I've ever seen in any other medium, whether that be video games, movies, books, anime, whatever, TV shows. Nothing has quite achieved that level of narrative success in so many different areas of its series. I think it's something that everybody should experience, even if it's to greater your appreciation and understanding of other series. Even if you don't want to necessarily be a fan of Legend of the Galactic Heroes, Legend of the Galactic Heroes will heighten your appreciation of your own favourite series. That's what it done for me anyway. I think that's something that should be watched by everybody. It can be a bit daunting because it's 100 episodes, but I think it's something that at one point everybody should experience. Fairman Sensei asks, what's more important in an anime from your point of view? Is it the story, the characters, or the presentation? And which do you enjoy the most? So I don't think all three are necessary for plot, characters, and presentation. I think you can have a series that has no characters, but if it has a strong story, it can be amazing. I think you can have a story with no story at all and just characters, and I think it can be amazing. Although I think you do have to have one of those two. I don't think you can have just presentation, and that's essentially a lot of art, but I think that's all it can be. It can just be art. I don't think, without story and characters, I don't think it can ever be more than just, oh, that looks nice. And you're saying, well, what about the great pieces of art of mankind? And if you look back at most paintings, most of the amazing paintings, there is a story there. You're looking at you're looking at a narrative on the painting, and whether you realise it or not, when you look at a painting, you don't just look at it and then that's you looked at it. There's seconds and seconds and minutes of the painting taking you through a journey around the painting and round the picture or the photograph. There's always a narrative there, and I think that's very important. And of course, a story can be an experience rather than a start, a middle and an end of a book or whatever. I think 2001: A Space Odyssey is the best example of this. There's no real kind of narrative in the traditional sense, but it's very much an experience. It takes you through the movie, and you experience different emotions, and you experience kind of positivity, negativity, confusion, reflection, and it's all these emotions that the movie takes you through, and that in itself is the story. The experience is the story. And what do you enjoy the most? I think I enjoy story or characters the most. That any kind of narrative. I'm someone that enjoys the narrative experience more than a visual experience. Kerr Noob asks, how long does it take to make a video? Now this was asked loads of times. I think like 4 or 5 people asked the same question. It normally takes about 20 to 30 hours to make a video, from me starting the script to finally finishing, putting that last little piece of whatever into the video. It normally takes about 20 to 30 hours, and that's not because that's how long it takes to make a video, but that's because that's how long I give myself to make a video. YouTube's just one of my many hobbies, so I just kind of cap myself at that, because I could put 60-70 hours every week into video creation, but then I'd be completely bogged down with everything else in my life. And I think when it comes to YouTube, it's just a hobby. I don't think you have to make every single video this amazing masterpiece of that tops everything on YouTube. I'm really not too bothered if some of my videos aren't big 100-hour projects, although I do occasionally like to, like the Ghost in the Shell analysis, which took about 3 or 4 months to make. So yeah, I think videos are just how long you take them. I've been video editing and using Photoshop and stuff for years and years and years, so I'm quite efficient with it. So I personally could do more in 30 hours than someone who's just starting, so it'll be different for everybody. So what anime did you grow up watching? Like I said, I didn't really ever watch like Naruto or Dragon Ball, apart from catching it on telly. What made you want to do YouTube? It was nothing other than, like I said, the 20 to 30 hours. I wanted to put that in every single week to practice my skills at all the various things like video editing, script writing, and SEO and stuff like that. And it was just really an excuse to have something to practice with. If I had something to do every single week and I could complete something every single week, I could develop my skills a lot quicker than just doing like a random 2 hours of practice and then kind of going and doing something else. And what direction do you want to take your channel, and where do you hope to end up? Now this is a kind of interesting one, because I don't really have like goals that I want to reach with my YouTube channel. I don't really have like, oh, I want to be here before the end of the year, or I want to be doing this or getting this kind of many views. My channel's never been about getting the absolute most views possible. It's been about creating a channel where I can kind of talk about what I really want to talk about, not have to talk about the most popular stuff, not have to talk about seasonal stuff, but if I want to talk about Mushishi, I'll talk about Mushishi. If I want to talk about an anime that literally nobody who's watching it will have seen, then I'll do that. And I wanted to develop an audience from that. I didn't want to just take the easy route and get the most kind of general videos and get the most general subscriber base. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that at all. It's a completely valid way to run your YouTube channel, but it was never really my intention to get any amount of subscribers. But I'm very proud of the niche market audience I've built up in anime, which is already a niche market in itself. Did you teach yourself how to edit videos, or were you taught by someone? A little bit of both, really. YouTube tutorials and kind of talking to people who also edit videos is always really cool, but I think the best thing you can do to learn a computer program is to literally boot it up and just start using it. That was something that my high school computing teacher told me. He said just play around with your program for 2 or 3 hours and it'll be so much more valuable than 10 hours of YouTube tutorials. Just open up the program, start a new project, and just start playing around. Just put in a few files into After Effects, see what you can do with it, see what kind of stuff you can make. But YouTube tutorials and stuff like that are very helpful as well if you want to learn how to do more advanced and specific stuff. Goat Jesus asks a very interesting question, and all I can say to that is I think it's not size that matters, it's your taste in anime. And my man Baka Opai asks, boobs or butt? And I have to say with confidence, butts. Here we have, why do you hate Clannad so much? I just don't get your hatred of. I don't hate Clannad that much, actually. I don't dislike Clannad that much either. I'm pretty neutral to Clannad, to be honest. I watched it and I didn't get any positive emotions from it, didn't get any negative emotions from it. But I do like saying I hate it, because people who like it get so frustrated. It's one of those shows that infuriates everybody so much, so I think that's quite fun. I think I like discussing Clannad more than I liked watching Clannad. But really, I don't really have any feelings towards Clannad whatsoever. It's this kind of a show that's so far from my own personal tastes that I literally have no opinions on it whatsoever. Gluzen Games asks, do you play video games? I do. And what's your favourite? Favourite was something I played recently, which is The Last of Us, and I think it's genuinely one of the best written pieces of narrative I've ever played, and I was blown away by, my mind was blown by just everything that they chose to do in The Last of Us. I mean, they just done so much with their narrative. It was so impressive. Especially considering most video games are kind of run from A to B and then watch a cutscene and then run from A to B again. And are you excited for the Star Wars The Force Awakens? I presume that's the new movie coming out, and yeah, I'm pretty excited. I haven't watched Star Wars in probably 12 years or something like that, but yeah, I'm pretty excited. The trailers look pretty interesting and nostalgic. Now, Mutant asks, what's been your passion, and what is it that you're mainly aiming for and your goals for life? Quite simply, it's to be happy and to be positive, and I think just to appreciate everything. And I don't want to sound too deep and boring, but that's generally my outlook and how I try and approach everything in life. Because if you can appreciate everything, which everything is worth appreciating, then you'll live a very good life. My kind of plans for life are just to experience as much as I can while I can. Yeah, I just kind of want to experience everything, whether that be positive or negative, while I can, before I'm, unable to do those things. That's kind of my goals in life, I guess. But yeah, appreciate everything in life, whether that be negative or positive. If it's negative, appreciate the fact that you're experiencing something negative, because it exists, and existing is something very beautiful in itself. Now, this next question is pretty interesting. It's, have you experienced a change in your taste over the years of watching anime, and do you find that change to be a kind of good thing or perhaps a negative thing? Now, I have had a slight change, obviously. Some of my absolute favourite stuff right now have always been my favourite stuff right from the start. Like things like Mushishi and Ghost in the Shell and Evangelion have been pretty high on my list right from the start. It's not maybe that my taste has changed, but the anime that I've watched have, I guess, developed my taste and kind of maybe actually solidified my taste. Maybe that's a better word. Given me a greater understanding of my taste. I think I was old enough to not be into that kind of, the kind of moe stuff and like that. And high school romance shows never really interested me. They certainly don't interest me now. But even when I was watching the first few, I was like, oh, this is cool, but it's not really doing much for me. And I think the kind of development of your taste is a good thing. It's definitely a positive thing. Even if I spot more negative things and say, oh, I don't like that, maybe I would 3 years ago, it just gives you a better appreciation and understanding of what you're watching. And I think that in itself, whether you're watching something that's negative or positive, is a good thing. I think the fact that you can understand why you don't like something more now is better than actually liking it. And of course, the stuff that I really like, I find new appreciation for that every single day, and I think I'll never stop appreciating some of my favourite stuff, like, Ghost in the Shell, Mushishi, and Legend of the Galactic Heroes, and I think that's why they're my favourites. What's your favourite genres of music? Hip hop and kind of club music. Favourite anime YouTube channels? I'm gonna say a few channels here, and I like YouTube channels that have completely unique aspects to their channel that I can't really just go to another channel and find. Whether that be like a really cool personality or a really kind of specific skill or good video editing or whatever that may be, I like to watch channels that I can't find in it like 10 times on other channels. I'll just list a few. Goat Jesus, fantastic analysis, really in-depth, and I think probably one of the best YouTube channels I've seen of really breaking things down, really understanding the specific anime that he talks about. And then Kenji Enji and the Omnipus, which are two smaller channels, but despite them not having as many subscribers, I think they're genuinely some of the best anime critics on YouTube. Critiquing anime is so hard and it's not easy to do, but these two guys do it really well, and they have such an understanding of their own opinions, and the ability to express your opinions is something that's very rare in the anime community, so I think I have to mention these two guys. And I'd like to also mention the Anifix podcast, which I do listen to regularly. Although they are plebs, they do make very good podcasts. so I'm just going to fire into a lightning round, really quick answers. Favourite pizza topping? That would be chicken. Galactic Empire or Free Planets Alliance? Both. Favourite anime director? Mamoru Oshii. What would I do on my channel if I didn't do anime? That'd be film. I actually do have a film channel. It's on the little sidebar on my anime channel. So yeah, that's the end of the Q&A. That went a lot longer than I thought it would go. I thought it was going to be like 3 or 4 minutes, but I really enjoyed making this video actually. This has turned out a lot better than I thought it would, so I'll definitely be doing a lot more of these. If you want to ask a question or even like reply to questions that I answered in this video, throw your opinions and throw everything into the comments below. Remember to click the like button or share this video around with your friends or share the channel around with your friends. Just generally get the channel out there. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. I make pretty regular content. Thank you very much for watching.